Right, welcome to another edition of ONSIDESA, the soccer show that keeps you going, and it's all getting very, very interesting. We did speak about who's left and who's gone. Budge, the mighty sword fell on Leicester.
Yeah, for the competition I enter, they took me out as well. They never looked like winning, in fairness, Paul. But, I felt for Liverpool. We had them in our bets. The VAR, well, you just don't know where it is.
They missed a penalty as well, Brighton. Mape, what was his name?
Mope
missed the target.
Yeah.
I'd also have come off.
But Paul, it happens. You get one of those weeks was going to plan,
yes.
And all of a sudden, this is a big week coming up now.
So just to let people know out there, we go, as Bud said, the big ones coming now. Everyone's used these 4 to 5 to 10 favourite soccer teams, but Man City took 113 through. They can't be used by that group. West Brom, someone went through with them 3, and Man United 1 after being 2-0 down.
Yeah.
The guys that went out budgetly: Leicester City, Liverpool, Everton, Crystal Palace, Arsenal. Some guy picked Arsenal, and Sheffield United. So there's 117 left. Budget will be less than half this week.
Well, Paul, this is a big week, as I say. Of the 117 left, 113 have used Man City. And I think Keegan Governor, who went through on Man United, I think Keegan used Man City last week. So there's only 3 guys that can use them.
Wow. Guys with 5 picks, always good to see that. Craig Veal and Mark Curry, geez, strong. 3 picks, Graham Hawkins, the racing man, he's still going. Picks of the week: West Brom, Colin Gordon, Rory Murphy and Clive Napier.
Well, those 3, and I looked this morning, can all pick Man City. So I'm surprised Clive, who's normally the last. Man City play Fulham at home. So
I want to know which 3 are through. 14 people have 2 picks. Just worth mentioning because we're getting down there. Trevor Furry, Des Furry, Kevin Furry. They've had a go. Anthony Sewer, he's always involved.
Yeah.
Dave O'Connor, Clive Napier, going well. Dean Veal?
Dean Veal, yeah.
Reese Ferreira.
Yeah.
Phil Giorgio, Kevin Power, Michel Narak, the CEO.
Yeah.
And Francois Dumi, I don't know if I know him.
He's our Mauritian contact. He's Michel's big mate. He enters from Mauritius.
Okay, and joint tote favourites to win it. The money's come. Gavin Radford and Paul Lafferty.
Oh, Paul, it's about time you and Gavin, you're both
footballers.
You're both on the show all the time, so it's time that one of you picked your game up and went close.
The best I've got is the final 14. It's the best I've ever got.
This is your pick.
Stevie B's the final 300.
No,
he's out again, Stevie B.
Well, I don't know whether he's gloating or whether he's crying, but
well, let's get him on the line. In freezing London. And Blighty, are you there, Steve?
I am. Good morning, both.
Good morning. Steve, sorry, Budge, but you would be so pleased to go out the tournament and let your beloved Fulham win.
No, absolutely. As I said to Budge, I've never been so happy to get knocked out of last one standing. That must be my tactic from now on: is to bet against Fulham every time. Then it's a win-win for me almost.
Yeah, win-win. I wouldn't back them this week. What Budge just told me.
No, definitely not. Sadly not. No.
But
Steve,
Champions Leagues.
Topic of conversation before we hit the Champions League is the game was postponed on Friday. Aston Villa, Newcastle. Now my question is, what happens? Say Man United, several of the players go away and they contact the virus. Will they postpone games? What's going to be the situation?
Well, I think it really depends on
how many players.
At Newcastle, there was an outbreak at the training ground,
and
therefore they really can't be sure who may have contracted it. So they've literally sent the whole squad home. They're having to self-isolate. They'll be having tests, but the tests need to be several days apart. So because of that, they can't take any chances, so the match this week won't go ahead. If they continue to test negative, they'll probably play next weekend. I think the issue would be if there was like a small bubble of players. Let's say they went and had a party together, but weren't near the rest of the squad. Then I think they would just self-isolate those players, and the game would have to go ahead. So I think, obviously teams have got big squads. If they lost, as we've had before, teams have lost 2 or 3 players. Obviously, if it was if it was at the training ground, as I said, they can't tell who has and who may not have contracted it. Then they have no option but to postpone. So, which is why they've been very strict about players not mixing with other people.
Okay.
Stevie, just touching on that subject, obviously you can't have a whole squad done, but what's the latest with the vaccine? There seems to be some news coming out of UK.
Yes, there is. So in the UK, yesterday morning the news broke that the UK regulatory authorities are the first in the world to approve the Pfizer vaccine. So they're going to start rolling out a first smaller batch next week. But it's not going to hit the general population until early next year, because the first few million are going to sort of the more vulnerable, elderly, care workers. So it's still a little way off, but it's certainly good news.
Stevie, just staying with that vaccine for a moment, there seems to be an element of people who are opposing the vaccine. Any news on that?
Look, there's always some people that don't like vaccines for whatever reason. I think the majority, by the sounds of it, of those who need it will probably take it.
Yeah.
There's certainly those who are vulnerable. There is no other way of keeping it out your body, basically.
Yeah.
I think they're fairly hopeful that the majority of those that do need it in the first sort of tranches, as it were, will take it. And ultimately, it does need, obviously, a relatively high take-up to try and get some sort of immunity going. But we'll see. I'm ready with my hand up for when it's my turn.
You're
the infirm. You're the infirm.
I think that Man United midfielder Fred, I think they don't want to give him a vaccine at Old Trafford. I think they want to give him a bullet after what he did. Steve, on to the Champions League. Liverpool, I watched the game. I thought it was a cracker. They beat Ajax. Did you see much of it?
I did. I thought Ajax came really with, they basically had to throw everything at Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, just putting 10 behind the ball wasn't going to work. And Liverpool really, and I think even Klopp admitted it wasn't one of their best performances. They had to dig deep and maybe a little bit fortunate.
Yeah.
But a win was all they needed. And actually, it's good because they can now go to Midland in Denmark and actually rest key players. So because they're through. So I think that's quite important. And obviously Chelsea can do the same now. I mean, they cruised to a win last night, and they can do the same in their last game.
Yeah, they had. I saw Seville also made several changes, but you had to look at the Chelsea team sheet. They've got a nice deep squad.
They had, and look at Olivier Giroud, who's obviously their man for European games, had a fantastic game. I mean, I only saw highlights afterwards because I was watching the United game.
Okay.
Tell me, sorry to interrupt, boys. I never watched the United game. I just saw that they got beat. Well, how was it? But you're a Man United supporter.
Started off slowly and then worked into the game. And, Fred should have got sent off.
For what?
For headbutting. Well, how he never doesn't get sent off as a joke. What did you see, Steve?
Yeah, no, look, he should have been sent off. But I think it's interesting because he's a top referee. He refereed the Champions League final. I think what changed his mind was the theatricals from Paredes.
Yeah.
So he obviously felt that although he put his head towards him, he didn't make enough contact for him to be rolling around on the floor.
Yeah.
Having said that, at half time, I was shouting, "You've got to," to Ollie, he's got to change it, because there was no way they were going to let Fred spend the rest of the game on the pitch, and they did everything they could. And in the end, he actually got sent off with got a second yellow for what was actually a good tackle. But he should have. I think Fred obviously at fault, but I think Solskjaer was at fault.
Yeah.
He should have taken him off, brought Pogba on earlier, or Van der Beek, because they were after Fred. And the trouble with some of those PSG players, they're so talented, but the theatricals just spoil it. And
so it's 3-1. True reflection?
No, not even close. Yeah, the whole game changed with the two. How did what's they miss that chance? That Frenchman. They've got to get rid of him. He's a joke.
Marshall?
It's the best movement I've seen at Old Trafford in about 10 years.
Yeah.
Rashford, Cavani, sticks him through. He hits it, ballooned it. Then he gets another chance where hits a crossbar. Cavani rolls it square and he missed. You could see it. That was the winning of there, Steve. Once that went out, I thought, here we go.
No, absolutely. Look, I mean, they've now got it all. They basically have to avoid defeat in Leipzig.
Yeah,
so
that
that PSG are going to beat Istanbul.
So thank you. I didn't see that
Leipzig,
game.
In the end, so obviously, if United lose, they're out. If they draw, they will go through because they're equal points, but they rank ahead of Leipzig.
Yeah.
So to me, it's losing in Istanbul was the game that really did it for them.
Yeah.
So,
watch Istanbul. They played Leipzig. They can't defend that Leipzig. United will catch them. It'll be another
And I think
high-scoring
that's what
game.
they need to do. United need to go there and not think a draw's all they
Correct,
need, because you get undone, as you know. So they've got to go there with an attacking side and take the game to Leipzig. They beat them comfortably at Old Trafford in the end.
Yeah.
So, look, it makes it exciting. But say United now have got of the English teams, they're probably the hardest position to be in.
All right, Steve, talking to United, we travel to West Ham on Saturday. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those fixtures that doesn't always go the way of United. West Ham have beaten them, on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be down after the match, but I think they've won eight in a row away from home in the league.
Yeah.
I thought the second half they played very well at Southampton, came back very strongly in the end. I think they've got to play like that. They've got to attack West Ham. West Ham were a bit fortunate, I thought, to beat Villa the other night.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
I think that's going to be a close one. I think United have got enough firepower to win that game. I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah, Steve, this is the best I've seen United play the last 3 games for a long, long time. But he'll mix and match. I just hope defensive we can cope. But I think we've got a good chance. Steve, the other United, Leeds United, was superb last week when they beat Everton. How do you see them going at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, look, they seem to be far better away from home, Leeds, on the whole. Chelsea look strong. I'm a bit disappointed with them against Tottenham. I thought they sort of cancelled each other out a bit. But I think Chelsea, with getting all their players back at the moment, pretty much, I think they'll be too strong for Leeds. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll be too strong for them.
Yeah, I think it should be a good game. I like watching Leeds. Now, the team I went for last week, Crystal Palace, they were terrible. Now, they play at West Brom. Relegation clash. Steve, how do you see that one going?
Well, I think, and again, I think it just shows you, without Zaha, Palace just don't seem the same team. All things being equal, he should be back this weekend, because he would have done the required time away from his coronavirus, unless he tests positive again. I think they miss him dreadfully. And having said that, watching West Brom Sheffield United, how Sheffield United didn't get something out of that game. I mean, the miss at the end from Moussa.
How was that? Yeah.
So I think, this is a huge game for West Brom, because I think this is an opportunity for them to pick some points up. But I wouldn't be surprised if Palace catch them and get a point there.
Okay, now the big game is obviously the North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal. You think Tottenham will be too good?
I think they will be. I mean, Arsenal, you just seem to have completely gone off the boil. I mean, really, I thought quite poor in patches against Wolves the other night. And I think Tottenham, although they'll probably be happy with enough at the points at Chelsea, but I think they will be too strong. But you'd hope that Arsenal would sort of find something to raise their game a bit, because speaking to one or two Arsenal fans in the last sort of week or so, and they're pretty disappointed with the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, totally agree. Now, one team that's in and out is Wolves. Can they upset Liverpool at Anfield?
Yeah, I thought I was very impressed with them at Arsenal. Thought they played well. And I think Wolves have lacked a little bit this season. I think Liverpool at home should just be a bit too strong. I know obviously they've got defensive issues, and against Brighton, it was a game they probably should have killed off, but didn't. So I think it will be close, but I just fancy Liverpool to edge it.
Yeah, I don't get beat at Anfield too often. Steve, on to the Championship. Watched a little bit lost the other night at Brentford. They sneaked in. This should be a good game when they play at home against Blackburn Rovers.
Yes, it will. I mean, Blackburn have come back with some home wins.
Yeah.
But Brentford are on a bit of a run at the moment. A few games ago it looked like they were drifting mid-table, and now they find themselves only 2 points off the top.
Yeah.
So 2 points off the top. Sorry.
Make up your mind.
So I think Brentford might just be a little bit too strong.
Okay, now Bristol City seem to have come back again. They host a disappointing Birmingham City. You think they're too good, Bristol?
I think they will be. I think they're having a little good run. They had that, obviously, a great start, and they sort of wobbled for a few games, but they're back a bit stronger now, and I think they will be. Birmingham have been disappointing. They're not an easy team to beat, but they've been quite disappointing recently.
Just don't score many goals. Now, teams that don't score many goals are Millwall, but they play a Wayne Rooney Derby County side. Any chance Wayne Rooney can get an upset, get a result?
Well, look, they could, but they haven't looked like it in the last few games. I mean, they're at the bottom of the table. It's pretty disappointing for them when you think that that includes Sheffield Wednesday, who are above them, who had 6 points deducted.
Yeah.
Millwall just make them, are a hard team to beat. They lost last night, but at home they really are a hard team to beat. And,
Agree.
and you know what you're going to get? They're going to throw everything at Derby. So I wouldn't be surprised if Millwall edge that one.
All right. Now, top of the league, Norwich City hosts Sheffield Wednesday. Seem to be on the move with Tony Pulis. Can you sense an upset?
Yeah, look, you know what you sort of think you know what you're going to get with the Pulis side. The one thing that he does is he makes his teams hard to beat.
Yeah.
Had a good win recently. I think that that's going to be a tough game for Norwich. You don't know what you're going to get at the moment. I mean, the Championship is so open. You've got the top 9 clubs are separated by only 3 points.
Gee,
and
top
Norwich
9.
lost at Luton last night.
Yeah.
So
Who lost to Luton?
Yeah.
Norwich lost at Luton 3-1.
Yeah, that championship.
So,
yeah.
it really is it's probably the most open championship we've had in quite a few years. Because in the last few years, we've had at least one team as head and shoulders above everybody else. But at the moment, the top 3 are the 3 that went down. But they're just not pulling away. So I think that Norwich should be too strong. But I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Okay. Now the team is making my best bet of the weekend. Watford be too good for Cardiff City?
I think there will be, but then Cardiff have come back with 2 home wins.
There's 2 Liverpool boys.
Watford are making themselves hard to beat. So they've drawn a lot of games away. But at home, last week, they were too strong for Preston in the end. So I fancy Watford, but I think it will be a fairly close game.
All right, Steve. Pressure time of game. You're on the spot last week. I need your best bet and your best value bet, please.
I think I'm going to go for Brentford. I think they're going to be too strong at home for Birmingham City. And Ivan Toney is showing why they paid a lot of money for him, top scorer in the Championship.
Brentford,
and I think my best value bet, I'm going to go for Bristol City.
Yeah.
I like the way they're playing at the moment, and I fancy them.
So it's Brentford. Hey, you realise they're now being sponsored by a South African company, Hollywood Bets.
Hollywood Bets
got
sponsored
their logo
Brentford.
on the back of their shirt. But I think there'll be plenty of goals in that. But I agree, Brentford have come right.
Stevie,
Steve,
wonderful talking
thank
to you, pal. Thanks very much for everything, and we'll talk
Lovely,
soon.
Pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
best,
Stevie.
Steve.
Cheers,
Bye.
pal.
Bye.
All right, Budge, let's roll on with these Premier League
Yep.
fixtures. We've touched on a few and you can add to them,
Yep,
but let's start at the top with Burnley.
Burnley, yeah.
Where are Burnley going this year, Budge?
For the moment, they're not going anywhere. They're in
Yeah.
the bottom 4. Yeah, but they play an Everton team, Paul. I'm disappointed in Everton. I thought that Decorah missed a great chance to put them 1-0 up. But other than that, Leeds were in total control. I think they're going to be a lot of guys on Everton this week purely because Burnley are weak. I won't be taking the 9-10, Paul. I think there'll be goals because Everton can't keep a clean sheet. If ever there's an upset in the Premiership, this could be it.
Man City 1-8.
Yeah, 1-8, Paul. I think is their 9-10 to win both halves. Whatever.
That's a good bet.
We did that last week. They were 11-10 to win both halves, and they did. I think to score over 1.5 goals, score 2 goals in the first half. I think they're like 9-10. They should win. Fulham, I think that they play Man City this week and Liverpool the next, so they're under pressure. That was a great result.
A great result for them.
And Man City on the roll, Paul.
West Ham, I think United are playing well again.
Paul, as I said, it's the best we've played for a while. Last night, we were in total control, Paul. The second, if Martial scores that, I think we win 4-5.
Yeah.
But it's a tough game. But
Did
Everton
Kylian Mbappe play?
Yeah, he's a player, Paul.
Is he still that good?
Jeez,
Still
he
that
glides
good.
past people. West Ham did get lucky. I fancied them on Monday, had a couple of rand on them, but they had no right to beat Aston Villa.
Yeah.
United have got a chance here, Paul, even though some of our performances, David Moyes will be winding
Which
his
team?
troops
Which
up.
team's going to pitch up?
Yeah, that's the trick. But I think a draw 26-10, Paul, but United are playing well.
Budge, now when I watch football over the weekend, I love watching Leeds.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. What's his name, Bielsa? Or what?
Marcelo Bielsa, yeah.
He's done a brilliant job. Those guys get out there and they go for it and they pass quickly.
This will be a cracker, Paul, because Chelsea are good to watch too.
Chelsea, a very good team. Very good team.
Goalkeeper Mendy's
if
changed
Leeds
it.
get one early and start opening them up because they pass the ball well. Have you noticed they've had a go at Liverpool in the beginning? They've had a go at everybody.
Why fear anybody? You may as well have a go. You never...
Bielsa's a legend.
Yeah, top man.
Okay,
I don't see them getting a result, Paul. That's the only thing there. I think Chelsea, I hope Chelsea will catch them. I think Chelsea to win, both teams to score. I think I saw 2-1. That's the right play there.
Yeah.
Paul, I fancy Crystal Palace. West Brom, how they won last week. I took a double.
Who'd they beat?
West Brom beat Sheffield United.
That's right.
And
yes.
I had win and draw. Mousse missed one. Must be the miss of the season from 2 yards out. It was 5-12. I couldn't sleep. But I think Crystal Palace, should be back 16-10. Paul, that's my value bet for
all
the
day
weekend.
long, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's look at the next sheet.
Second page, Paul, which Leicester? They're woeful at the back. Sheffield United, they can't buy a goal, Paul.
Yeah.
If ever there's a time, this could be it. Because Leicester, teams
Down the
have worked
ropes.
them out, don't push out.
Yeah.
And, I didn't believe the stat as we spoke earlier. They'd created the second least amount of chances in the Premiership. Leicester, I couldn't believe that. And they're playing
And they
a team.
were high riding. If they'd have won last
Yeah.
week, they were
They would have
knocking
been
on the top. Yeah.
But, Paul, I think it draws a player there, 5-2. I fancy your Spurs,
Me
boys.
too, I fancy Spurs.
You know,
I think at
Arsenal
home they're
woeful.
playing well. Arsenal have the ability to score goals, but they haven't been doing it.
Yeah, well, I just think this manager, he got too much glory too early. He's trying to be a tactical genius, and his players aren't good enough.
Yeah.
But they'll try and park the bus like Spurs
Yeah.
have done the last couple
Yeah.
of games. But I think Bale will start, Paul.
Yes,
I
so
think
do I.
Mourinho will take
He'll
a
stretch
chance,
him. He'll
stretch
stretch
them, have a go. And I think 9-10 Tottenham's a fair bet, Paul.
Liverpool should beat Wolves. Liverpool the champion. They've got a record at home, second to none.
Paul, 31-1. That's the last 32 home games. We're all looking for them to get beat. The only thing is Alisson's out. That young goalkeeper, he played okay. But, Wolves, shame. The centre, I don't know how Jimenez, apparently they've released him from hospital. He clashed heads.
Yes, I mean,
But,
Jimenez and Luiz.
David Luiz. But, Wolves always give Liverpool a hard game. That Traore, everyone's
Yeah.
petrified of him.
Yeah.
Well, 31 out of 32, you got to back Liverpool.
Right, so a good game.
Should be a good game, the
Good
last
game.
one, Paul. Brighton, Southampton. I've been really impressed with Southampton. Brighton, I don't think have won at home for 12 games. They've outplayed everybody. They just can't score.
They can play.
They can play, Paul.
I wonder if Paul Lamptey will be back.
I think he got 3 games, but you never know, Paul.
He could
with,
play.
He can play. If he's
Yeah.
that right wing back, Paul, I think 23-10 is a great bet on that particular game.
Yeah.
I can see 1-1.
Is Danny Ings still out?
Yeah. So he's reported out that you don't know the medical,
Yeah.
but he's reportedly he's out, Paul.
Right, let's go to the championship. As I said, just want to reiterate the point Steve made. 9 teams within 3 points at the top.
One of them's not my boys, Preston. We
But
murdered.
you had a good win the other day.
Beat Bournemouth 3-2 away, but at home we can't win a game. Paul, Bournemouth have got a rebound. Barnsley on the roll.
Yeah, Barnsley
But,
did well, yeah.
This Friday night game, Paul, at least it's a nice, decent time. So I'll be watching it. I'll be going over 2.5 goals in that. I think I saw even money, so that'll be my play there. I watched, Reading got a result last night, but they played a Nottingham Forest team.
Did Reading get a result last night?
I think they didn't get beat. I didn't
I hope
check
they
it.
won, gets him back in the
Yeah,
scrum.
they're one of the teams in the scrum, Paul. But Notts Forest, I watched them play Swansea. They never had a shot on goal.
Oh.
I mean, Chris Houghton, they were woeful. They can't score goals.
He's in the Pulis defensive mode.
He gets them organised at the back. They just don't look like scoring, Paul. So Reading score, they win. Because I don't
Yeah.
see Notts Forest scoring.
Yeah.
They were terrible.
Brentford, Blackburn.
Yeah, but, that's Steve's best bet. But Blackburn Rovers score goals. I think the highest scorers there. Paul, I bet over almost 8.5 to 10, over 2.5 goals. I wouldn't be taking even money Brentford. I
Okay.
watched them the other day. They beat Rotherham, but it's a tough league and Blackburn score goals. So over 2.5 goals is my play in that game.
Okay.
I like Bristol City. I agree with Steve. Birmingham can't score either, Paul. They're a tough game. They've got better results away than at home, but they draw too many games. I like Bristol City, Paul, 12-10.
Huddersfield.
No, I can't have them, Paul. They upset Middlesbrough. I'll be on to Preston
Sorry.
here. He's with the wrong page.
Doesn't
Paul,
matter, we can talk
but
about
Paul,
these.
Preston have got to win. We're terrible at home, but if we can't beat Wickham at home, that manager's got to get the bullet.
Is Wickham,
Wickham
are
Wanderers,
Wickham
they
struggling?
came. Sorry?
They're struggling.
Yeah, they organised. They got promotion at Gareth Ainsworth. I think they won the playoff. But we've lost 6 of the 7 home games.
That's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. You can't beat Bournemouth 3-2 away. 8-10, Paul. I think it's a gift.
This is a good game.
Stoke Middlesbrough. Yeah. Middlesbrough
Stoke
won last
moving
night.
up?
Yeah, Paul, they won last night. They won 1-0 away from home. I think they beat Rotherham 1-0 at home. Away from home, sorry. Hang on. I think a draw, Paul.
Okay.
Tony Pulis, he's a negative. Not Tony Pulis, sorry. Neil Warnock. His
Yeah.
teams don't get beat too often. I
Yeah.
think they've only lost one of the last 13.
Is that
Stoke-
all? Middlesbrough?
Yeah, but they've drawn a lot of them, Paul. But 2-1 a draw for me as a player there. Swansea got beat last night. I think Middlesbrough beat them. But I was really impressed when I watched them against Notts
Didn't
Forest,
Luton
Paul.
Town win last night?
Yeah, they beat Norwich 3-1 at home, but the week before that they got spanked 4-0 away at Cardiff. I think Swansea will beat them, Paul. They're a good team.
They don't like going to Wales.
Don't like going to Wales. I think Swansea 6-10, and I like Watford, Paul. They're my best bet of the weekend.
I like
Troy
Watford
Deeney's
too.
back. They've got
Is he?
Sarr. They're all back.
They're all back.
And they've got a Cardiff team. who've
When
come right-
does their window open in January?
January. Well, if they hold on to their players, I think they're coming straight back up, Watford.
Okay, let's see. Are there any more to talk
Yeah,
about?
it's Coventry, Paul. I fancy Coventry. Mark Robbins, when you look at all the stats, and there's several guys that go on to Betfair, they just can't convert their chances, Coventry. Coventry create more chances than most teams in the Championship. Rather more struggling. I fancy 15-10 Coventry, Paul. That's
Okay.
I fancy them big time.
Huddersfield.
Yeah, Huddersfield, QPR, only one thing, goals, over 2.5. Yeah, QPR, funny team. The last 6 games, both teams have scored. They either win 2-1 or get beat 2-1. You know, Huddersfield beat Middlesbrough, then they got beat away from home. A draw would be my player, but as far as the punting side of it, Paul, over 2.5 goals, both teams to score looks a certainty. I like Millwall at home. They don't get beat too often at the Den, and I think Wayne Rooney, I read a report this morning, he's considering hanging up his boots.
As a player?
He's taken over. Paul, they're a terrible team. They're bottom of the league. They can't win a game. I think 11-10 Millwall looks a fair price. Yeah.
Okay.
And Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday. Norwich, you know, watch them.
How Wednesday doing?
They Tony Pulis, draw, sneaker win. That's all they're going to be. Norwich, with all the players that they've got, Paul, Timo Pukki, and
Yes.
they just don't score many goals. They don't blow teams away. And while
Yeah.
I think they should win, the draw's a definite player in that game.
Okay. Let's go to PSL.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting, PSL. Now we got Cape Town City against Orlando Pirates.
Oh, you know, Pirates have started well, Paul. They're unbeaten, but they've drawn a couple of games. Cape Town City drew with Amazulu last week, yeah. I think, I got to fancy Pirates, Paul. The only problem is they don't score many goals. That's why the draw's a player. I don't see Pirates getting beat, but win-draw Pirates for me there, Paul.
Arrows Swallows?
I like Arrows. You know, they drew 2-2 with Chiefs. I like what I've seen from Arrows.
Yeah.
Good young players, but Swallows are playing well, Paul. I think
Yeah.
they're second or third top. I think 18
Don't
to
follow
10
me,
the
follow
draw.
the birds.
Follow the birds.
Follow the
not
birds.
Morocco, just Swallows. I think the draw's a player in there. And I think Amazulu can get a result as well, Paul. They're well organised. They've got good attacking players. TTM or Shakuma Matsi, they've had a good start to the season. But I think that the 17-10, the draw, gives it away, Paul.
Yeah.
I think Amazulu in the draw there.
Okay, the next.
Second page, well, it's got to be Sundowns.
Who's in charge of Maritzburg now? Have they changed?
Ernst Middendorf's gone back there. So
You see, he just does circles.
circles, Paul. But, you know, he's available. I don't know how cheap he is. Or they need a coach. They've lost all 4 games. Paul, 7-10 looks a must. That's in our bets, Sundowns. They're playing well.
Yeah,
They've got plenty of good players. I think
Yeah.
they're certainties, you know. You know, Barocca are in and out, but Chipper United don't travel. They've played 2 away games. They've lost them both. You know, even money's difficult to take Barocca, but I think they should win. And the last game, you know, Steve Barker's got his boys playing well. They're tight. I think 17-10, the draw in that game, Paul. I think it's going to be another close game. And while Sundowns, not many of our teams score a lot of goals, Paul. So
Yeah.
the draw's obviously a major player.
All right, Budge, tell me about your 6s and 10s and 13s.
Yeah, I've gone one banker. This is a tricky one in my opinion. I've gone Everton to win and draw at Burnley. I don't see Reading losing at home to Nottingham Forest. Likewise, I don't see Stoke City losing at home to Middlesbrough. I watched Real Madrid against Shakhtar in midweek. They are woeful.
Madrid.
Seville, even though they lost to Chelsea last night, rested all their key players.
Who lost to Chelsea?
Seville, but
yeah,
they rested a lot of
yeah.
their players because they're already through. I don't see Seville losing to Real Madrid, so it's Seville in a draw.
Have they fallen that far down?
Yeah, they're woeful, Paul. They're disgraceful as
There's
a team.
talk of Pochettino going
Could
there.
well be, because the way Zidane's going, they don't want to play half of those players. You know, Paul, I've thrown the draw in with Man United. It is a tricky game, but the way United have played the last couple of weeks, and David Moyes would take the draw. And I had to find a banker, so I'm chancing Chelsea to beat
Yeah,
Leeds
yeah.
United, 192.
Okay.
Now, the second one, I've gone Pirates win and draw at Cape Town City. I've gone Golden Arrows win and draw at home against Morocco Swallows. I've banked, Amazulu win and draw at Shakuma Matsi. I've gone Man United win and draw at West Ham. Banked Sundowns to beat Maritzburg United.
certainties.
Then I've thrown the draw in with Chelsea, Paul, looking
Yeah.
for the upset.
Okay.
Onto
The
the
10.
soccer 10. Yeah, I've gone Orlando Pirates win and draw against Cape Town City. I've gone Golden Arrows win and draw against Morocco Swallows. I've gone Lazio win and draw at Spezia. Sevilla, win and draw at home against Real Madrid. I'm chancing Amazulu to avoid defeat against Shakuma Matsi. The second page, I've gone Man United to win and draw at West Ham. I've banked Bayern Munich to beat RB Leipzig. I've banked Mamelodi Sundowns to beat Maritzburg. I don't see Barcelona not winning against Cadiz, and I've thrown the draw in with Chelsea Leeds United 256. If you want to halve it, obviously bank at Chelsea. On to the 13, I've gone the field in the West Ham United Man United clash. I've gone Chelsea win and draw at home against Leeds United. I've banked Man City to beat Fulham. I've gone Brentford win and draw at home against Blackburn Rovers. I've gone the field and the Huddersfield Town Queen's Park Rangers match. I've gone Stoke City win and draw at home against Middlesbrough. I've banked Bristol City to beat Birmingham City. I've gone Millwall to beat Derby County. I'm going for Norwich City to beat Sheffield Wednesday, siding with a home team in Swansea City to beat Luton Town. I've thrown the draw in with Watford versus Cardiff City. I'm bankering Preston to beat Wickham, and ending with Coventry City to win at home against Rotherham, 288.
All right, Budge. Best bets, my favourite part.
On the Premiership quad, I'm going Crystal Palace to beat West Brom. I'm going Tottenham to beat Arsenal. I'm going over 3.5 goals in the Man City Fulham match, and I'm thinking Southampton will avoid defeat against Brighton on Monday, 2,500 to 200. On to our championship bet, Paul. I'm going Bristol City to beat Birmingham City. I'm going Preston to beat Wickham.
To win at home.
To win at home, finally. Yeah, I'm going Swansea City to win at home against Luton. And I'm going over 2.5 goals, Brentford versus Blackburn Rovers.
Hollywood bets, Brentford.
300 to 200, correct, John. Our team-only goals, I'm going Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Bournemouth and Preston, all to score over 1.5 goals. So they've got to score at least 2 goals, Paul.
Preston.
Yep, finally, more than even 3-2. So 20 to 1, Paul, 4,000 to 200. Our both teams to score sides are Burnley Everton, Chelsea Leeds, Sheffield United Leicester, Liverpool Wolves, and Brentford Blackburn Rovers, 3,200 to 200. Our PSL quad, I'm going Barocca to beat Chipper United. I'm going Sundowns to beat Maritzburg and over 2.5 total goals. And I'm going Stellenbosch to avoid defeat against TS Galaxy and Golden Arrows to win or draw against Morocco Swallows, 2,500 to 200. And our Collis Kings, 6 or Nixa. I'm going Man City to beat Fulham, Preston to beat Wickham, Swansea to beat Luton, Mamelodi Sundowns to beat Maritzburg United, Inter Milan to beat Bologna, and Olympique Lyonnais to beat Metz. 12.5 to 1.
A lot of pressure on Preston.
A lot of pressure on Preston.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Preston.
And the manager, Alec Neil, he'll be under pressure too, Paul.
Alec Neil, some Scotsman in charge.
Yeah, he was at Norwich, got them promoted, got them relegated, but...
well, Budge, 117 left.
Our pressure's on, Paul.
Last you don't play because you run the show. If you had to pick a team, Man City. But
well, Man City, obvious, Paul. Yeah,
but there's only 3 people who can use them.
Yeah. Clive Napier, Paul. You'll never hear the end of it if he wins it.
Roy Martin's told me he's going to win it.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's it. Well, until next time, stay on side.